when we leave the game, our name will remain. We don't need the fame, you can keep this chain. We broke free so things won't be the same. Nah, on the mission, gotta get it, let's work. We were raised on the net, I'm raising my net worth. But it ain't about the money, nah, it ain't about the cause. All that matters is the world knows who we are. Stars.
If you want it, you can get it. Life gets hard, but don't you let it get you down. Go get the crown, because our time is now.
Hey, we gotta get it. Gotta get up, gotta go, we gotta get it. Hey, they won't forget us. Made it happen and we all became legends. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Lane by Lane. I am your new host, Barento Raz Muhammad. A lot's already happened in 1 week's time. Alfari's out, we got Sven out, Saligo's out, and I feel like Abadage has a shield fetish. At this point, he's going to waking up in the morning saying, Sa Erasa Tirihi. We'll see if he gets that champion later on today, but let's just bring out the guests for today. Bring him out, bring him out, bring him out. It's Azael, Crumbs, and Week 1 champion, Kobe. First of all, Kobe, did you get the title that we sent you?
I did not get the medal, but I do like the roster changes that you made, Raz. Get Freak out of here. Get Primal out of here. I'm loving my boys over here. Crumbs and Azael. Give them a round of applause.
There you go.
Applause.
Just remember, Azael, you are representing one half of the Doug duo. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely terrible. You know, why are you putting me in the mud like this?
All right, guys. Now, for those who, in case you missed the first show, Lane by Lane, we have a few new rules this time around. So, again, I'm going to toss it over to our good friend in Rib to explain it.
Thanks, Raz. Yes, Lane by Lane is back with some all-new upgrades. As host, Raz will still be doling out the gold based on his purely subjective opinion, but now you can too. That's right. Now all of you watching from home get a say in who takes the title of Lane by Lane champion. Just hit us up in the chat and who you think is giving the best answers, and we'll award each contestant with gold based on your votes. Still not satisfied? Well, I'm not finished yet, am I? This time, we're bringing power-ups to Lane by Lane. You heard me. Lane by Lane is getting some of its very own items, and you get to decide who earns them. At the end of the third round, the contestant with the most votes will earn that week's special item to be used at any time in the second half of the show. So warm up those thumbs and get ready for some fun. Lane by Lane starts right now.
Excellent. Love it, Riv. I would ask you guys if you've understood it, but honestly, if you haven't, you ain't paying attention. So I'm going to go straight towards question number 1. After seeing Week 1 of LCS, which pro player was the most underrated coming into the split?
Ooh, honestly,
I got it.
Go
Right here.
Crumbs.
I got it. Jenkins, my boy Jenkins. No one's been watching Academy in the first place, and they're just hard flaming him, saying that this guy was not going to hold his own. Shows up, fills the shoes of the best top laner in the league, gets a win. Still, people are doubting this guy. They have not been watching Academy. You can't hate if you don't have the evidence to hate.
blah, 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 blah. The real answer is Xerxes. Are you kidding me? 3-0 for Immortals. Everybody was rating them 9th or 10th place, me included, because he's underperformed so much in
Little
spring.
face, we're docking you down 100 points.
I got, Raz, I'm admitting that I too was one that underrated him, which is very rare. His Rumble play, now that Rumble is back in the meta, he is at the forefront of junglers. Best Rumble in the entire LCS. He was incredibly underrated and a huge part of why Immortals actually got a 3-0.
All right, Zale, you
I
you scouted the competition. What are you saying?
Kobe's answer was okay, but he didn't even get the best player on his own team. Destiny.
What?
This man
Are
was
you
on
kidding
fire
me?
with the hooks. He was getting the
What game?
predictions. It was point and click. This man has got the aimbot on lock, on the Thresh, on the Nautilus. Him and Raze have been so overlooked as one of the strong bot lanes. You know, people are giving so much credit over to King and over to FBI and these OS bot lanes, and Destiny was making it look so damn good last week for Immortals.
Let's go. Vanilla Gorilla, by the way.
If I may,
right,
right?
Crumbs.
Jenkins was in the dirt when he was ready, right? The Immortals players were at 0. These guys were. Jenkins was thought to be a liability. People thought he would just bring the team down. To me, that is more underrated.
Crumbs, I gotta dock you a point because they didn't even know Jenkins was coming in a Week 1. Like, it wasn't even in the roster.
He wasn't rated at all. He wasn't even rated.
That's underrated.
I feel like I gotta
Raz-
dock you down for that one.
Raz, you don't have to stand for this. He's questioning your integrity.
All right. You know who I'm gonna...
You just questioned me questioning your integrity. That's a double whammy.
You know what? We're gonna go to the question 2. I'm gonna have to let you guys know that never question my integrity. Crumbs, I'm gonna give you a pass for this first round.
Thank you.
Second
Thank you,
question.
Lord.
Which LCS pro has the coolest summoner name?
Ooh.
Oh, revenge. That's it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Honestly, what about a sub in? What about Pretty? Pretty coming in. That's pretty cool. Honestly, that's all I got.
And then I'm gonna dock you 100 points for that point. I'm not gonna let you have that point for that one.
FBI, open up, baby. I
Okay,
love
that's
that
true.
name.
Yeah, that's
he has
true.
got so much swag. There's so many fun memes about
True.
it.
You can give
Anytime
my
you're
point.
perfect.
You can give Azale my point.
Oh, thank you.
That was
There we go.
way better.
Crumbs,
than
you
my
don't
point.
have points to be given away, my friend. I gotta,
All right,
we
You
gotta
said
put a
it.
stop to this.
You said it, Crumbs. Actually, I love the Azale's answer because I remember one offseason, FBI was thinking about changing his name. I was like, wait a second, don't do that. It's
You
so
stop
good.
right there.
Stop it. All right, I like that. You know what? Just off that one, I'm gonna go to the next question. I'm interested in this one. All right, guys. This one is going to be the power-up round. I don't know if you guys watched the last episode of Lane by Lane, but this power-up round is gonna decide, the fans are gonna decide which one of you guys get it. For this one, we chose Guardian Angel. Not only you get to answer first in the next round of your choosing, by the way, at any point, so don't enter it away by not going and making the choice. You get the first answer, you get to scout out the competition, and then you get the last answer. Woo! I love the sound of that one. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God! I just had a heart attack over here.
We should have the entire
The
show
voice
like
of
that.
God is talking to us.
We should have the entire show like that. Whoever made that decision in the back, keep making that decision. Thank you. Wrong answers only. Who is the best champion in pro play?
Wrong answers only.
I'll let you guys should start. You guys should start this.
Haha,
Not
Zoe!
taking initiative.
I'm a Zoe main. I love it when Zoe wins. She's just so cute. Whenever she throws out the bubble, I don't remember any more of the copy pasta, but I just hate Zoe!
The best champion, Tom Kench. Wrong answers only. It's so much fun to watch. You hit a hook, gobble them up. You catch the Tom Kench out, gray health. What a fun champion to watch.
I love that. That's some you know what? I love the energy behind that one, Azale. I'm going to give you an extra 100 points. Crumbs, you were taking a step back onto this one.
Yeah, I wanted to listen to them. I wanted to see what they had to say. I made the mistake of starting too early. And I got to tell you, Raz, in all honesty, I still don't have a good answer for this one.
What?
So I'm just going to come out with, wait a minute, listen, I'm being honest.
What a curveball here by Crumbs!
Hang on. You didn't let me finish here. I think the worst champion pro play is gotta be Karma. I just don't like seeing Karma. That's period.
What?
It's it. That's it. You made a really good.
Under
You
Thieves
made a really good
misused it.
cosplay about it. You made a really good cosplay with your voice.
There we go,
Raz.
thank you.
That was at the start. So it's the Karma Zin. That's a cool combo. But Karma by herself, come on, man.
What do you hate about Karma?
There's only one damage spell. That's it. There's not a lot of
W
damage.
does
There's
damage too.
two damage spells,
Okay,
by the way.
very little. W is very little
You
damage.
know what, Crumbs? I'm going to give you points because the question is wrong answers only, and it's getting a lot of wins.
Okay, wait a second. Because this is the power-up Guardian Angel round, I just want to make a plea to Twitch
Oh,
chat. Can
no.
you vote for Crumbs?
No.
Can you vote for
Oh, thank
Crumbs?
you.
Because I want to hear him answer twice because all his answers are so bad.
I love that.
I accept that. I'll gladly take the power up.
All
Vote
right.
for Crumbs.
Okay. Well, first things first, keep those votes coming. We'll see who won the power-up round on the other side of the break, so stay right there. I'm interested. We need to know. We need those answers, guys. All right. Welcome back to Lane by Lane. And let's get straight down to business. Before the break, I asked you, people at home, who do you guys think won that round and is able to get Guardian Angel? So let's put it up on the back wall. Let's see who we got.
Crumbs needs it.
Let's
Is he
go.
gonna
Come on,
get
Crumbs.
it?
Yeah! Wow! The power of the people have decided. And definitely some push from Kobe, who was getting every audience vote last week, and so he made the plea for Crumbs to get it.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank
go, Crumbs.
Kobe.
Crumbs.
Thank you.
All right. Just remember, Crumbs, for the rest of the show, you have the choice to use it in any of the questions. I'll give you a reminder if we're nearing the end of it.
Let me tell you, though, that in-game, Guardian Angel is a really deadly item because it often makes you int way harder than you normally would. You get really overconfident. You think you've got a 2 life, and then you're just dying in the middle of 5 people to die.
So you're going to int harder than what
Yeah,
you've already
that's
been
right.
doing?
Yeah,
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
That's why you gave it to him, Kobe, so he could lose points on 2 answers instead of just 1.
Just for the honesty aspect, I'm giving him 200 points for that one. Let's go on to the next question. Which team will have the most drastic change in their win-loss record from week 1 to week 2? Rack your brains on this one.
EG! It's gonna be heads or tails. This week it's heads, baby. Jizuke is gonna pop off. They went 0-3 last week. Look at how close those games were. They were so close to winning in every single one. Some minor changes, a couple little better decisions here or there, and they could have had an undefeated week. So EG, I got faith.
Honestly, I think it's going to be Immortals. They went 3-0. There's no way they get 3-0 again. They're putting in Pretty from Academy here in the first game. They talked about because he earned the spot, but that still doesn't mean he's had as much practice with the main team. There's going to be some dysenergy there. This is not going to be a repeat for them. There's no way. Raze and Destiny set a record for the biggest goal difference
true.
again. There's no possible way.
Okay, I don't understand.
They could set a record in the other way, too. You know, there's 2 directions you can go here.
How do you guys praise the Immortals team in the previous round, and now you're going to defame him? That makes no sense to me. I'm going to go with CLG. I think CLG was running it down in the beginning
risky.
of the first week, and this time around, they've already shown that they can be good last split. They have an easier strength of schedule. I think that they had a bad read on the meta. It doesn't get any worse
You
than that.
sound
You're
like
going to actually have a
Some
turnaround.
Copium.
You don't question my
They were good
lifestyle.
last
Don't
split.
question my lifestyle.
That's hilarious because that sounds like Crumbs, if I may say, every CLG fan, every split. Every time, bring in the excuses. We need the wins, Crumbs. Who do you think is going to be? I'm going to give you another question on this one, actually. Who do you think is going to be the difference maker on that CLG team to come into this week with wins?
Finn, man. Finn, that guy's just been carrying harder and harder
He
every
was
time.
carrying last week and then they didn't win.
But the other guys were really heavy, all right? They were really heavy. They got to lose some weight. They got to just make sure that he can do his job fine.
Please don't shame CLG. All right. Question number 5. What is the strongest item in League of Legends right now? Stat. We need them.
Divine Sunder! Divine Sunder! It just got turbo buffed.
I'd like to use my Guardian Angel right here. I'd like to use my Guardian Angel.
Okay, you can't take my answer though.
I'm
I
gonna
already.
take your answer. I'm going to take your answer. The
I'm
strongest
allowing
item,
it.
Raz,
I'm allowing it.
is the control ward. Always has and always will be.
Wait, did you just say control ward?
That's right, the control. I
It's
got
also
two
the most
answers.
boring
I got
possible
two
answer.
answers. I got
It's
two
also
answers,
one of the
right?
only items that I can kill. I
Hey,
can just
Kobe.
kill your
Wait.
item.
Kobe, I got a question for you. How much damage does Control Ward deal?
It actually does 0 damage.
Guys,
Oh,
guys,
interesting.
Game.
It actually
Guys.
takes damage, Azale. It takes
I
damage.
need 15 seconds here with Crumbs. Crumbs, you literally just heard Kobe say it, Divine Sunderer.
That's right.
And then you said you're going to use your
Control
power
ward.
for control wards.
That's
Why
right.
are you using your power?
Because I got two. I can use it again. I can then hear them speak, and I can give a better answer afterwards if this
Raz.
isn't satisfactory.
Raz, give me my
All right,
points
go.
back. He didn't steal Divine
All right,
Sunder.
just go.
I steal Divine Thunder. I want to steal.
No, we got to
Divine
go with
Thunder.
Kobe for fairness sake. We're going straight for Kobe.
Who
Yeah,
needs
bro-
fairness?
Come back to the light here. Come back to the light. It's properly named Divine Sunder, truly made by the balanced gods here in the last patch. You know what, Raz? They buffed it so much, they then had to start nerfing all the champions that use it because it's turbo OP. Does percentage max health damage, heals you for that percentage max health damage, and they buff both ratios on it. Slam that Sunker on any champion that you can use it
All
on.
right, all right. Kobe's going for the
he really
obvious
liked that.
answer.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna go for the connoisseur's answer here. Stopwatch.
Oh, there we
Talk
go.
about something
That was my second.
that is
That's
so
what I love.
impactful.
That was my
Stopwatch
second
is a game changer. Yeah, Divine Thunder is OP. Everyone knows it.
You can
but
only
you
use
stopwatch
once.
You only need it once,
Broken,
Kobe.
bro.
You use it. It's quality over quantity, baby. You use that right. You win the game. You get the Baron. You get the Elder. You take the Nexus. It only takes one because it's that damn good.
It's some counterfeit goods over there. You use it one time, it's broken. That's cheap.
It's cheap,
Oh,
but it
that
works
hurts.
when it happens. Okay, Crumbs.
That
It's
hurts.
time.
They took my answer. Azale had my second answer. I planned for it. He saw it coming. I'm just going to have to throw a curveball, see if you resonate with it, Raz. The new item we saw that's going to be allowed in the game, that's going to be the new strongest item. It's not in the game right now, all right?
It doesn't exist.
Hang on. I respect
This is
their answers.
fraudulent.
I respect their
I
answers
demand
so
a
much.
recount.
It
This
says
new
right
item
now.
is going to be
Look at that
so
question.
good. It's so broken.
Do you see that?
Split
Do you see
pushing
that right
galore.
here? Are you reading this? Right
No,
now.
It's actually in front
Thank
of my
you,
right
Raz.
now.
Thank you.
I can't actually see that. I can't
Okay,
actually
well,
see that, Raz.
you're going to see this. Your points dropping, and you freezing for 15 seconds. We're moving on to the next one, guys.
You know what? I just want to applaud Twitch chat. That was well worth it. That's exactly what I wanted. Vote for Crumbs for that power up, baby.
Oh, my goodness. All right, guys. We're going to have to go straight for this sixth question. What is the best advice to give to someone trying to climb solo queue?
Pick easy champs.
Muto!
No, no, no.
Muto!
No,
Muto!
no.
We're going to
Right
Azale.
now,
We're going to
Muto,
We're going to
Muto.
Azale. We're going to Azale.
Pick one champ, make it easy, and grind that champion. It's so much easier to learn all the different matchups when you're sticking with one particular champion. As much as people hate on one tricks, you play something OP like Volley that is very simple. It's powerful. You get used to all the different situations. You know exactly how to play out the game.
Doesn't matter
It's all
what you're playing.
matchups.
Doesn't matter what you're playing if your teammate quits. The best advice in solo queue is to bring a therapist with you to keep your team from tilting. Your team is going to rage quit. Your team are going to blame each other as soon as anybody dies.
That's account sharing, Kobe. It's against TOS, and I won't stand for it.
You call them up, you put them on mic, get them to type
You
for
don't need
you.
a therapist if you never hear their problems. You Muto. It never happened. You never interact with them whatsoever. You tunnel vision on your own gameplay.
Then you're gonna
That
get your
way,
conspiracy
you improve.
theories. You're gonna
You
wonder
improve.
what they're
You
typing
only
about you.
focus on your own gameplay. You never worry about what they got. You watch your own boss. It's so quiet. You play music. You're in the zone.
I feel like there's a
every
lot of
single
answers
time.
right here,
It's
Crumbs.
Muto.
But you know what? I think that passes regardless. I'm going to give you some points on that one. All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to, you know what? I love this a lot. I'm going to immediately go to Crumbs, who is behind by quite a bit, and this question resonates with him. Question number 7. What will be Abadaga's second champion played in the LCS?
Lulu. Yeah, that's right. He's just gonna keep going with enchanters. He's just gonna keep playing this.
Fair.
That's it.
Oh, that was simple
Fair
and
answer.
clear. All right.
Not that exciting of an answer,
Listen,
but a fair answer
It was
nonetheless.
never exciting. Are you pandering for excitement? He's not.
Yeah,
He's
I
going
am.
for the
I
dub.
want to see his ass on Viego,
There we
okay?
go.
Because then Viego is going to kill a Lulu, steal the Lulu soul, become Lulu, and get bored of being Lulu, and go back to being Viego. That's what I want to see.
Are we trying to be right, or are we trying to see what will actually happen in our own
Who
eyes?
cares about being right?
It's an entertainment show, Crumbs. We're trying to entertain.
Being right is overrated. I want to see a Kali. I don't give a damn if it's the right pick. I want an assassin. You got mechanics? Show me mechanics. Diving into the back line, taking out the 80 carries left and right. I'd love
What
to see it.
champion is that? What assassin are you looking
A
for?
Kali. I want to see
There
a
we
Kali,
go.
man. Get in there on the back line, assassinate all these pesky Ezreals. They're building Frozen Hearts. That doesn't give you any MR.
All right. This is going to be a good question. I'm ready for this one. If you were building an LCS team, if you guys are responsible enough, what position would you fill first and build your team around?
Mid lane for sure.
All right, Kobe.
Mid lane for sure. You need to have a big brain in the mid lane as well as some strong mechanics in the mid lane. This is still the most influential lane in the game. Don't listen to what people are saying right now. All supports, all junglers.
Sounds like a
those
jungler
are
speaking
those are
here.
whiny,
Trying
whiny
to
little babies.
hide the truth.
Solo lane experience. It's stronger than a jungler, stronger than a support, and you also get positioned in the middle of the map so you can affect all of the lanes. Your little support is supposed to come unlock you so then you can go roam around. Your jungler is supposed to come unlock you so you can go
Oh
get
my
stuff
goodness.
done.
Kobe is just trying to provide some alternative facts here. He's trying to
jungle,
hide from the truth that jungle is the most OP role. Everybody knows it. Mid is jungle difference, Kobe. He just wants to blame it on the mid laner.
Why
here.
is it the least played role in the game then?
Because you
Answer
need
me
a big
that.
brain.
Difficult. It's
It's
difficult.
difficult, but
thank
it's
you,
so
thank you.
it's
I'll
so
take that.
OP when you have the best junglers, man.
All right. Crumbs, get in on this one. You're tracking. You're
All right,
quite
let me
behind
ask
here.
you something, Azale. Sorry, Raz. Let's just be honest with me here. What answer do I need to give you to win 2,000 points right now?
You're asking the
asking
teacher
me?
for the answer?
Yeah, that's
Look,
right.
first of all, never do that.
Well, it is unexpected. I'll give him that.
But also remember, I'm not the only host out here. It's the people at home that have points by the end of the game. They can ship them your way. So just answer
Oh,
honestly.
Okay. All right. Well, the honest answer, they already took it. I would go with mid lane. I would go with the mid
gotta
lane
do something
as the
different.
pick.
First
Oh,
he
what
asks
do you
for the
mean?
answer,
I'm trying to build
then
a
he
good
copies
team.
a different
I'm trying
answer.
to build a good team.
This man's just straight cheating.
Yeah.
Caught in 4K right here live.
Crumbs,
I'm not
different
gonna lie to
answer.
the people. I'm not gonna lie to the people that tell you it's the bot lane or the top. It's mid or jungle every
Honestly,
time.
Raz, I accept the
It's
support
my
of Crumbs.
honesty.
I accept
You want me to
Crumbs'
lie?
support.
Lie?
That's
I'd rather
true.
be caught cheating than
That's
lying.
true. We got a lot of people getting caught cheating on Twitch shows, out there, but we're not going to allow this show to be a cheating type of show. So I'm at least going to give you a few points as recognition for that.
Why are you giving him more points than you gave me for the mid lane answer, Raz?
Look,
you just gave
it
Crumbs
came
more
from
than
the
I
heart.
got.
They're called pity points.
It
Cody.
came from the heart.
You can't kick a crumb.
Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next question here. If the LCS was actually scripted, what would the surprise twist ending of the season be?
Doublelift and Bjergsen both return to TSM in the finals. They step on stage in Game 5. Reggie subs himself into.
And then-
Bjergsen goes to jungle,
go.
and they win.
And then they lose because Sneaky comes back to Cloud9 and Sneaky makes the gauntlet miracle run once again for C9. You thought they were inting when they benched Sven? It was all a setup, Raz. Don't you see? They've laid the foreshadowing here by Cloud9. Sven, oh, is he toxic? Is he not? Doesn't matter. Sneaky's coming back.
I'm a one up this and say that the Sven Alfari benching will be permanent and they'll bring back Rick Fox to join and make a new org that will take the LCS to the World Championship and
I
to
like
the
that.
top. We need Rick back, baby.
I miss Rick.
We need it to the moon, to the moon. I love that so much. And you know what? Here's the next question for you guys because I enjoyed it. I want to hear a little bit more. What is the strongest jungle champion in pro play?
Okay, wait, hang on. Right now, let me clarify this again.
In what
Okay.
universe?
Yes, right now.
All right, just making sure you caught me with that one last time.
Let's go Xin Zhao.
Are you
we
kid-
saw it all last week. It was so OP. It even
I'm
made
trying to-
Karma mid look good.
I am trying to let you guys answer first here, but
Yeah.
honestly,
Hang on. All right, thank you. Let me take that.
100%.
Let me take that.
No,
you
no.
want me to answer
okay,
first?
I'm letting
Okay,
you.
okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
Don't mess this
All
up,
right,
Crumbs.
thank you. It's Udyr. It's Udyr.
Okay,
All right, it's
thank
Udyr.
you.
Udyr has just been relentless all year long. The guy's got all the skins because it actually gets multiplied by 4 times, so you actually get to see a lot of different variety, but that's still not enough to keep players interested in playing him. They're begging to be put off this champion, but they still get it first pick. They still get the dubs. It's so good. It's just an easy jungle.
By
with
the numbers
crazy
answer
stuff.
from Crumbs. I like this. This is the first just straight answer from Crumbs.
Honest man, Crumbs.
Well done. I'm going to have to go another angle because you went with the numbers there. You can't really argue against the pick ban percentage of Udyr. I'm going with Gwen. You haven't seen it in the jungle yet because she's so highly prized as a top laner and so highly prioritized that she's banned most of the time, but she's actually a very effective jungler right now as well. Just because she is so powerful, she can clear extremely quickly, has the dash early on to get these early ganks off as well. Wait till you see Crumbs in the, wait till you see.
The early gank is that she just dashed
Gwen
in the
in the
lane,
jungle.
just chopping them up.
Wait till you see Crumbs on Gwen.
Yeah.
Then you'll be a real believer.
All right, guys. I need to look at the fan vote. This is drawing the close of the show. It looks like Azale's taking the lead, but if I were to look at the fans, what do you guys have to say? Who is taking the win? Oh! And that's 1,600 gold going into Crumbs' pocket. I can't believe it.
This is how you know the LCS is scripted.
All right, Crumbs. I'm not even going to put in the full votes. You already know that you win. I'm freezing these guys
Thank you,
crowning you 15 seconds of fame. Give it to me.
I want to give a shout out to all the dudes and dudettes out there in the Twitch chat that voted for me. Whether you spam smarts, dumps, it doesn't matter. You were on my side. This time is for you. Thank you so much. And I hope we get to do this again. With you guys behind my back, we can beat all the other clowns that show up on Lane X.
Oh my God, our new champion, Crumbs. All right, congratulations once again. We're gonna go to another short break, but when we return, LCS is kicking off for the second week, Summer Split, with TSM and 100 Thieves. Do not go anywhere. I can't.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Los Angeles, California for another weekend of LCS action.
Welcome back to you, Dash.
Yeah, welcome, buddy.
We were already
Thank you
here.
very much, friends. It is good to be home. We enjoyed another installment of Lane by Lane with our boy Raz and some hilarious answers. And now I'm joined by our analysts, Emily Rand, Kaizen, and Mark Z, to kick off another week of LCS action. The warm welcome is much appreciated. I'm just happy to be back in the studio with you all. We got players close by. The action is heating up. And it's coming off of a very exciting week one that while I wasn't able to be here in the studio to be a part of, I did get to catch all of the action. Met some of our newest faces. And we've got two new faces joining us again here already in week two on the stage today.
The hits keep coming. This time we got Yasui and Pretty joining us. For people who don't know, Yasui's been around actually for a pretty long time, grinding away in the Challenger Academy systems and the amateur. And he's finally getting his shot here. He got a really brief stint in Echo Fox, so there's a lot of people excited to see him moving up. He's got loud fans, so you'll see a lot of people talking on Reddit probably about him. And he's actually coming in for the whole substitute actually for Saligo, whereas Pretty, on the other hand, seems to be a reward for playing well in Academy. That's what the Immortals messaging was around, giving him a reward versus saying, hey, this is what we really think is best for the team.
Yeah, and, you know, these changes are a little bit weird because Saligo looked good last week, so apparently no one is safe.
No one.
What's going on in the LCS? It is interesting, and I think the distinction is very important between the two roster swaps, where one does seem a little bit more official and possibly long-term. The other was at least given very specific context around this is a reward for, you know, fantastic performance in the Academy split so far. Let's see what other kind of surprises the LCS has in store for us, though, as things go on. But while we talk about new faces, Kaizen, I think we got to talk about the faces that came in just last week. What's the verdict on the performance of some of those newcomers?
They all look good. You know, King, he's coming in trying to fill in the shoes of Sven, perhaps the best AD carry in the league. And overall, I thought he looked good in all three games, even if they didn't win all three games. We saw him on the Kaisa performance, had that killer instinct, super aggressive, which is exactly what you want to see from a new face coming in. A lot of the time, you know, these newer players tend to be more reserved, and that's not what we saw from King. So feeling good about him. Also feeling good about Danny. Not feeling so good about EG, but that's not
Danny's trying his best.
Yeah,
you know,
Danny's
he is trying his best.
And overall, look, the issues that EG had, when they sort them out, I'm sure Danny will be there to carry, and he'll look even better in that light. And another team that does look good relative to expectations is Golden Guardian, right? Because this is a team that was kind of a free win at some point in last split, and they're not anymore. So I think they're a legitimate threat, and we saw that last weekend.
We very much saw it last weekend. In reference to last weekend, I think we should take a look at the state of the league, and we're going to do something a little interesting for the first time ever in the LCS because of that carryover in record from spring to summer. We're going to throw the current and complete record of each of these teams up against what their summer split record would be of old. And Mark, this is interesting to me because I think data sets and the way in which you're viewing the data sets can really skew how your opinion of teams.
Right, I mean, this is the first time that we're carrying over spring into summer, and so people who have 3-0 weekends are tied for 6 with Immortals, and it really changes the feel when you see them down there. You don't realize necessarily how great of a record they had. Even someone like FlyQuest just underneath them at 8th, at a 2-1 weekend is actually a pretty good showing, but they just feel like they have so much more evidence behind them for like, oh, why they're 8th. But I do think it's important to take note of their actual first week.
Yeah, well, Emily, I think also, too, right? It's just, normally we'd see a 3-0, right? And, okay, it makes a little bit of sense for TSM, a team that was already near the top. But I feel like a lot of times we'd be coming into week 2 going, all right, are they contender? You know, is this really a team that's going to be fighting for first place? But, again, you realize, all right, tied for 6, they still have quite a ways to climb.
Yeah, and I mean, Immortals at 3-0 looked really, really good. I love them in this meta. It seems to suit them really well. They've been drafting really, really well, and even with Pretty coming up, I do think that this Immortals roster is, you know, I've said this before, like my favorite roster to watch right now.
Well, we got 2 teams up near the top of the standings that will be our first onto the Rift today, and that, of course, is TSM and 100 Thieves. One of our solidly first-place team, TSM.
Yeah, and if you're a TSM fan, it's a damn good time to be a TSM fan because C9 has an MSI hangover. Team Liquid is figuring out their whole top lane situation, whereas TSM made no changes, just lean in. We're good at team fighting. We're just going to keep on team fighting. We're good at objectives. We're just going to keep focusing on objectives. And they've sprinkled in a little bit of spice with putting PoE on Viego, which is not a champ we normally associate with him.
Well, and they also flexed it top, right? Which I think I like some of the minor tweaks that TSM has done while still remaining the TSM that we know. And you know, maybe love for them to be a little bit proactive early, but that's just me. If it isn't broke, you don't fix it. And I do think, again, like TSM have an incredibly strong team identity right now. I actually really enjoy watching this team, even if they are a little bit slower to start and then go for the late game scaling team fighting.
You say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Some people seem to be doing that with TL and T9.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know exactly how bad things seem to be behind the scenes because on the Rift, it didn't look that bad. And I think that's what's interesting about the start of this split, despite the carryover for a team like TSM. Them, 100 Thieves, C9, 100 Thieves, and TL all made changes in the offseason. That's what makes this matchup coming up today so interesting, is because it's kind of a power vacuum right now at the top, and TSM and 100 Thieves feel the best position after week 1, with the 3-0 and the 2-1, to kind of grab the early favorite for the summer split.
And on that point about top teams, I will direct people over to Team Liquid's Twitter, where they put out another announcement today with a little bit more context on the move there without reading it on air here. You can go ahead and check that out if you're interested. But you reference, again, this first matchup, 100 Thieves versus TSM. And while TSM is sitting at top dog, I think I want to talk a little bit about 100 Thieves and what they can do to continue that climb up the ladder. And Emily, for me, it's all about the draft, because that was the talk of week 1, was their approach to the draft phase.
Yeah, so I'll admit I was not an initial fan of the Karma Abadaga choice, and I made that very vocal on this desk right here. But what I do want to talk about is how they continued, they tripled down on it, and they had a really good team identity with the draft. So this is our first draft here, right? And we have the Udyr, which is along with the Karma, which is this is one of the things they change going forward. Obviously, the Karma is going to be buffing up the Ezreal. They still have an engaged support for Q, which I think he looks a lot better on than a mage support, which is also why you're having the Karma go mid. So I didn't like this draft so much. I was pretty vocal about it. The next day, we swap it up a bit. This was a bit of a risk because the Xin Zhao and the Gnar both have to get ahead early. But guess what? Someday gets a solo kill. You have the Karma buffing up that Xin Zhao going in for skirmishes and team fighting. He gets involved super, super early. And then you have the poke bot lane. They further refine this on day 3. Over here.
There it is.
Woo! Okay, so obviously the Gwen top made it through, which is huge. We still kept the Jhin and the Karma mid, and now we have the Cog for late game insurance and team fighting. Cog has been making his way back in. I absolutely love this draft. I love that 100 Thieves were a team that we talked a lot about having a really defined identity and then kind of losing out on it later on as the season went on, patches hit. I think they're obviously starting the season with a really clear-cut identity, and I love how they refined their draft.
Well, and ultimately what speaks to me is the fact that it made you rethink your opinion of the champion.
Yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong. I'm willing to admit it.
But Kaizen, I'm also curious then how the rest of the teams in the league might also start to rethink their approach to draft when seeing the kind of success that 100 Thieves had with this pick, both not only the Karma but the Xin Zhao as mentioned, because they aren't necessarily the types of pick that are explosive on the Rift and make you feel like, oh, they're dominant, they have to be pick banned, and yet they're effective.
Exactly, and they're effective in the way that 100 Thieves wants them to be effective, because a lot of people expected when Abadaga came in that they'd be playing control mages mid, that maybe they'd go back to playing through bot as well and just look to play for mid and late game, but they're like, no, this has been working in scrims for us, so we're gonna double down on it. And I think the great thing about this is this team has an identity, and I don't think it's the only identity that they can have given how many strengths they have. So I love the definition that Reaper has brought to this team.
I mean, you talk about the multiple identities. We still haven't seen them, though, which is what makes it tough for TSM here in the first match of the day, because you're like, okay, Karma and Xin, they're not really that high priority that I want to ban them on blue side, but it's like also all they've shown, really. And so I think that puts them in a weird spot now where it's like, okay, am I banning what are kind of more the power picks like the Gwens and the stuff like that? Or are we going to give them this for the 4th time in a row? Because I have no doubt Reaper will draft it for the 4th time in a row if it's open, and then you're still like, well, what else do they play? So I'm hoping it gets banned out just because I want to see, you know, those other angles that this team probably has in their back pocket.
I want to see Karma every game, man.
No, you don't.
Let's keep rebellion. Yeah, Karma good.
No. Pump the brakes on that one. No, but it's an interesting question, right? What do you do when a team finds success on something that universally isn't considered to be OP? How do you start to warp the pick ban phase? And ultimately, we heard Crumbs say on Lane by Lane, he thinks if it's not Karma, Maybe it's Lulu mid, just more enchanters. Keep going on that train.
We've
until
seen
someone
that from
forces Gilster.
100 Thieves Academy team.
Oh, well, then you know it's in the works.
Lulu Kindred. Yeah.
All right, well, we don't have to wait long to find out what 100 Thieves is going to bring out onto the Rift. For now, it's time for us to hand it over to our favorite Doug duo as we dive into today's action. Take it away, gents.
They're at the top of the standings for the first time since 2018 summer, so first time in 3 years. So, like, there's a lot of hype around TSM.
And I don't think the upgrade are enough for me to feel confident when I've seen TSM, who I put above them.
But we do want to talk a bit more about the bot lane. It's OCE all across the place, my friends.
They're not going to get it. Instead, it's going to be the jump forward. The heal is burned, and the auto. A solo kill, first blood lost. Show them how it's done.
If Lost and Sword Art continue to develop, if that can become a strength for TSM.
Sword Art on his rel, he is just such a damn good engaging force for their team.
Sword Art hits the back line. He goes over the top, locking him down. That's a bunch of damage. 2 for 0 so far to TSM.
I remember last split for 100 Thieves, it was all in on bot lane.
And now Closer's on the way out. FBI trades one back. It's a 4v4. And it's going to be Nidalee going 1 for 1 again. Looks like overall, those 3 kills for 100 Thieves. FBI is my pick right now for the best bot laner currently playing in the LCS.
Sunday's ready to come back now. They continue to move forward. FBI is able to apply the red buff autos as Closer zones away the rest of the team. Closer might be a little bit far forward, or is he?
Why is Abidage on Karma? You brought this guy who's been playing carries his whole career.
And everybody's like, the hell are you doing putting Abidage on Karma? First Karma game ever? Are you crazy?
Malaga moving towards his jungler, though, as the flash comes in for Perks. There's a Sinjao right there. Didn't know it, didn't assume he was on bottom scuttle, and Closer found himself a kill.
I was really excited by how well Closer and Abidage were working together.
I already know what the end game tweets from the 100 Thieves players are going to be.
I hope they're spicy.
Karma good. All caps, Karma good. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We just witnessed, indeed, Karma is good. I am Freak. This is Azale. We are the Doug duo. And a short time ago, Abidage tweeted this message for TSM head coach Bjergsen.
Hey Bjergsen,
This message.
You are the man who knows what I'm talking about when I say, please ban Karma. I've seen you playing all these supportive mids back in the days, like Karma, Lulu, Galio and stuff. And you know how it is. You lose your mechanics. You lose the fun of playing the game. Please ban Karma. Sincerely, Abidage.
Welcome, week 3, 100 Thieves head coach Abidage. On your screen right here. The roster drop's going to keep happening. Welcome back where I am into the mid lane if it keeps going on. I actually ran into PoE in the hallway earlier today, and I said, hey, man, good luck today. He's like, thanks very much. And I was like, you going to ban Karma? And he just smiled. Would not give me the deets, even though no one was around. Either way, ProView is back, by the way, and there is a free matchup every single game for our first game of the day. It's the Osh bot lane face-off between Lost and FBI. If you're paying attention a few seconds ago, I think FBI is the best bot laner currently in the LCS. So, yep, I really believe that. So if you want to play bot lane better than whatever you're currently at, watch FBI. He's really good.
That's true. He has been smurfing it up. I love ProView. It's actually a lot of fun to learn a lot of these little habits that some of the pros have that can really be beneficial to your play at home as well. So check it out. Karma first ban. Abidage is saved.
He is going to play something else. And I want to spend a little bit of time on that. Yeah, it could just be Lulu. But he said, hey, in scrims, Karma mid was by far our best comp. Maybe that's the best for every team in the world, and they're ahead of the meta. Maybe it's just the best for 100 Thieves. Who cares? I'm glad that they had their own style that worked for them. Of course, now we got to see what's next on the list. But the question is, you know, in fantasy, I said, well, we're gonna pick Karma for Abidage. Not going to get points out of that.
That's true. And I actually told you that it's probably going to get banned.
I know.
Played all 3 games.
I know.
Should have listened, Freak.
Hey, the thought is, what's the odds of it going through the bans and the odds of me guessing his champion correctly? And I said the odds
really the way I look at it is what's the odds of me being right and the odds of you being right.
Oh, you know, pretty high on your side. Honestly, I'm pretty sure every single season you get predictions better. But we get first pick Udyr on the way in. Gwen banned out as well. Viego off the table. Tristana banned. Lee Sin. Top is going to be up as an option for someday. But also a lot of very good bot laners. Keep in mind, we are still on 11-11, so Kai'Sa, high priority. Rumble, high priority as well. Didn't think TSM was going to steal it away, but 100 Thieves want the reaction on their third pick.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. You know, I was thinking that, hey, Lee Sin, we could be seeing it as a flex. When that was getting hovered, of course, Rumble gets locked in alongside it. We did see some Lee Sin jungle last week, but very likely will be Lee Sin top. Of course, Abbedagge could be taking it towards the mid lane. We have seen some Lee Sin mid. Pole Belter played it a couple times last week, and Abbedagge was known for a lot of these really aggressive mid laners, things like the Akali, these aggressive melee style champions. Lee Sin does kind of fit the bill, so I'm going to be interested to see if that will be for him or if they're going to be saving this for later. With Lucian and Gragas coming through, this is pretty interesting stuff because it could be Gragas up towards top as tank or AP. This could actually be Sword Art playing support Gragas. This could be Lucian top. This could be Lucian mid. We saw Lucian top was played earlier in the LEC, so a lot of flex action going on the TSM side.
My expectation here, and obviously I can stand
Lucian
to be wrong.
Gragas top.
Yes, is that Gragas is picked as an answer to Lee Sin. Keep in mind, all of Lee Sin's movement abilities are pretty well telegraphed, and so you can like body slam to interrupt Lee Sin Q and save your teammates. I think if you're rushing to pick a Gragas support, I think there are stronger supports out there. Thresh right now hitting the ban table is the first support ban, so that's my guess. But yes, of course it could be flex.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, even in the LEC when I was watching that earlier today, Lucian was played specifically into the Lee Sin matchup. So if you want to go aggressive, it is an option, and those are the most likely roles for Lucian to be mid and Gragas to be top, but I always like keeping your options open to be able to flex out of a bad matchup. If something gets locked in mid lane and you're saying, all right, I actually don't want to play against this, you could potentially move that around, try to get yourself set up in a good position. We saw EG, though they lost the game, actually do that very well, putting their Tristana mid up against the Karma top and actually having a very effective laning phase as a result. Being able to dodge a tough melee matchup, but now banning out some of those mid laners. Victor coming through as a ban. So TSM, at the very least, is thinking that Lee Sin will be more towards topside. Looks like they missed their last ban.
Interesting. All right, well, Thunder Thieves time to make some choices. Obviously, they've already locked in Kai'Sa for the bottom lane. The ability to play Senna with a non-Tahm Kench support also available. Honestly, farming Gragas probably could fit the bill, so a possibility that TSM goes that side of the matchup. Kai'Sa being short-ranged, fairly easy to poke out, could be a decent lane if we want to see that one happen. But TSM have to lock in their entire comp, seeing Leona support now.
And if you want to go towards Nautilus, you're kind of giving yourself a disadvantageous support matchup. A lot of people really do like the Leona into that. If they wanted to pair the Rakan with Xayah, again, disadvantageous support matchup there for Sword Art. So I do like the bans of both the Thresh and the TK, and then going towards Leona. Most of the common champions these days are going to have a tough time against Leona, so you go the more defensive route. They are going to be lower on engage, so more of an emphasis on the engage, very likely from that top side from Mooney. You need Gragas to be the one really nailing that. But there's so much dive in the meta right now. I think Braum is really strong into that, being able to throw up the wall against things like the Syndra ulti, against, the Lee Sin coming through, being able to lock down some of these champions that are going to be short range. The passive stuns coming through, of course, very quickly, not only from the Xayah, but also the Lucian. And it was actually Akali, excuse me. I thought the Syndra did get locked, so Akali coming through. This was one of the champions that Abbedagge was really known for in the LEC. He is an incredibly aggressive player when he is at his best. I do think he can shine on this pick, and it's going to be exciting to see this up against the Lucian. Of course, it will be favored towards Lucian in the early levels, but if you can maintain, a small CS deficit, get towards level 6, you can often look for all-ins. There's multiple squishy champions over on that TSM side that you could be looking towards, but that can be complicated by the fact that Braum will likely bring exhaust against a lot of these champions.
All right, well, end of champs like ticking down. Gragas is indeed top lane. Lucian in mid up against the Akali. Now, we saw this matchup in the MSI finals, and even though Showmaker was the stronger player overall, still lost lane as the Akali side of this matchup. Expecting Lucian to have quite a bit of priority here, especially a very strong player like Power of Evil. But yes, Abbedagge, not only can he play 3 games of Karma and win 2 of them and be a major factor for success, but back on the Assassins here as well. Knew his matchup, right? Last pick of the draft, knew the entire comp on both sides and said, all right, it's time for Assassins. Let's get in there and knock things down. And I'm excited about this game. TSM are the current #1 team in the LCS. 100 Thieves are my nod for the best team in the LCS. Record just doesn't show that yet. Might be wrong, sure, but with the new roster, I like them a lot. And we're going to get onto the Rift very, very soon.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. We'll have to see how well 100 Thieves actually play together with a very different style of composition. We saw 3 straight games of Karma. It was very much playing that supportive style, following around Closer, buffing him up, enabling him to be the carry. In this case, you're going to be wanting to have that kind of a reversal of roles where Closer is helping Abbedagge survive and getting him to the point where he can really take over on that Akali, because Akali can be very difficult to play if you get too far behind. You need to have that threat of the all-in here.
Yeah, and that's going to be the threat. It's going to be interesting. One thing as we track down Huni is on his way back soon. We do have a pause getting ourselves into this one. I don't know if it's him getting physically back in his chair. I can't quite tell. It looks like it's empty, but maybe I can't quite see it. Or it's just reconnecting to the game. But we'll be ready to go pretty soon. TSM, the winningest team in LCS history. I know many of you have just joined us in the last couple of years. TSM, the first ever LCS champion. And on their jersey, well, some of their jerseys, these ones don't have it, 6 stars, I believe, is the count for them. No, it should be 7 now, actually, after winning the most recent Summer Split. Either way, obviously, a very, very successful organization. After last year, they only kept their jungler, brought up their academy bot laner, and signed 3 new players from all across the league and all across the world. And, hey, back on top again for the first time in quite a while in the regular season. 100 Thieves have had a mid lane shuffle for a while. Abadaga, the man on your screen right now, definitely exciting. He's going to be piloting the Akali, and he is the reason I think 100 Thieves is going to go from a 4th place team to the best in the league.
And I mean, they're hoping the same, very clearly, right? So to make a big swap like that, to be able to pick up a player who is a pretty big name himself in the middle of the season does not usually happen. Of course, LCS has been covered with roster swaps this summer split. But generally speaking, going between spring and summer, there's very few changes. And if there are changes, they are minor changes. We've had a lot of big ones. 100 Thieves trying to make a splash, trying to secure their world spot, trying to push for a title here. They have made it to the LCS finals, but they didn't win. And they're hunting for that championship here. And also hunting for a mid laner who's going to have some longevity with the team, right? Because as you said, there have been those shuffles back and forth, trying out different players. They haven't yet settled on someone, and they're hoping that this is the right mix of players to bring them to that next level.
I mean, 100 Thieves is the org that had to drop Someday down to Academy so they could keep Ryu back in the mid lane for a split or two. Like, this was just how badly they needed to find themselves a strong spot in the mid lane. It gave Fate God one of his chances. I mean, he's doing really well over in Dignitas over there. Another fun fact as well, this is one I got from Reddit, and I've had bad stats that I've taken from Reddit before, so grain of salt, of course, but TSM, if I remember it correctly, have gone like 5 years or so where they have never kept the same roster split to split. Like, there's at least one player different every 6 months, and this time around they finally have these same roster that they played Spring Split with. For the first time, it's like, I'm going to make up a year like 2015 or 2016.
Okay.
Obviously, I could resource better. I just didn't expect the 10-minute pause getting into game, so it was not what I thought I needed.
But you went for it.
But I went for it because we had this time, and we were talking about roster changes and whatnot, so it was a natural segue.
I'd
That's
like to
how
say that you
casting
went for it with confidence.
Yeah.
But you really didn't.
I didn't.
You couched it in like 3 different ways.
If I am not confident, I will usually try to couch that. I can also just be wrong about stuff, and that's fine. Or I'll say my opinion, like, in my opinion, FBI is the best bot laner in the LCS.
True.
And if I'm wrong, that's okay. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But if I'm like, he is definitely the best, that's a different statement.
Exactly. And you don't want to go with, in my opinion, TSM has never lost the game of League of Legends.
In my opinion, they have.
They have?
Yeah.
I think your opinion is correct on this one.
I think my opinion
I'm
is
not
correct.
sure about the roster swap, so I cannot confirm nor deny.
I just saw what I believe to be Huni running across the stage. So in my opinion, Huni is sitting down in his chair. Okay. Oh, and I'm right because I can see him.
You are right. And you can see him. Good job, Freak.
Woo!
This is the pinnacle of your casting career right here.
Never done better.
Soak it in.
Yeah, there are some wonderful teams on the stage right now, Azael, and I cannot wait to have them do battle on Summoner's Rift. The game is about to be unpaused. I say this with confidence as we are hitting the Rift here for Game 1 of the day. Number 1 in the standings, TSM. Number 1 in my head, 100 Thieves. Let's do battle.
Man, I've never seen that Gragas skin before. Or maybe it's just a chroma I've never seen. That bright pink. What is that skin?
That is exciting. Is it? I want to say it's Vandal Gragas with a chroma.
Huh. Interesting. Never seen it. Or it could be a new one. Maybe it's a new one and we just haven't seen it yet. Because no one really plays Gragas in solo queue, to be honest with you.
Yep. That's true, too.
This is Phase Rush Gragas, so going to be interesting to see which route he does go. I am expecting it to be more likely tank, but Huni is his own man. He likes playing the aggressive style, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him go more of an AP mix, especially because they are playing double marksman, maybe feeling like they need a little bit of that magic damage to try to punish the lack of MR that there will likely be.
Yes, and also want to point out, because you can tell from rune choices, Closer is going to be doing a bit more of the Bruiser-focused build. From what I can tell, with Conqueror on Rumble, you go Riftmaker. you tend to be able to sit in melee range a little bit longer because you're going to get a lot of the Omni Vamp stacking up, either from Conqueror 10 stack or obviously from Ripmaker itself, and so you survive a bit longer and can frontline a bit more. There is a Leona for pure tank. In fact, this is a 4 melee team, and heck, Kaiser herself might just dive into the back line, so very forward motion on the team's side. See if they can kill people.
And it's kind of similar to some of the stuff that we actually saw TSM running last week, where they did the Nocturne Rumble and they did Viego mid, and they wanted to go for full dive. We're seeing more teams kind of experimenting with this style of composition. Huni getting an early ward there. Can proc phase rush if he needs, but he didn't actually get the 3rd hit. So now he's going to take free autos on the way out. And that was a bit poorly done. If you want to body slam in there, you need to make sure you stay for that last auto. But once you delay, it does reset, so he would have had to go for 3 more and couldn't. And as a result, he just kind of takes a little bit of a poor trade there, but can use the Gragas passive to heal it right back up.
I will say, though, it cost Someday his one and only Trinket ward. I believe he just put that down in Tri-Brush to just ward hop in an auto attack. So that's a gankable route right there as the bot laners fight. Good damage on a lost. 5th auto's going to hit. That means he's down to 200 HP, can potion back up. But I am curious, right? Like, is that going to punish Someday now not having a ward for possible jungle gank?
It's definitely possible. I mean, the trouble is always that I feel like, especially with Udyr, you know, he's tracked so well these days. It's almost always a 6-game clear unless you're going to have some variance in your pathing, which we know right now that Spica is not. I don't think you really will be punished by that, but it is an interesting point. There is that cost if we do see Spica head up there early on.
And for now, Huni's standing back up, just, you know, keeping track of the score. Hey, okay, he's back to full HP, hasn't used his potion, maybe he's going to be fine, but you're absolutely right. That is still a risk incurred that, you know, always could have been enough damage to tilt the lane phase. So far, though, he's going to be fine. Very small farm lead overall to TSM's side. Bot lane is close, power vehicles ahead, which you very much expect in Lucian versus Melee. So we'll see at what point Abbedagge turns that around. Farms what he can, but he's getting autoed.
Exactly, and a lot of it really is just about just trying to withstand the onslaught. When you're playing Akali into this, trying to utilize your Shroud to get as much farm as possible, it's more about, you know, avoiding too much poke, deciding which minions you can actually fight for, which you just need to give up. If you try to fight for every minion in a matchup like this, you end up getting actually a lot less overall because you just take too much damage. You really need to try to avoid, you know, PTA procs from your opponent, try to sidestep as many of those Qs as you can, and it's kind of just this defensive minigame for the first number of levels for Akali, where you're just trying to be as close to Lucian as possible. You know, you're going to be behind if the Lucian is good, but you're trying to stay as close to parity as you possibly can.
Right now, as the minions get pushed into the turret, not a lot of turret plate damage, but there is still going to be that 5 to 6 CS lead in the mid lanes. That's what Pee-wee's earned so far, as the lane's going to more or less reset and be in a fairly normal spot. Fighting over wards, no big deal in the bottom lane here. Farm very close between these two bottom laners. Looks like it is a very small lead on FBI's side. Closer did not recall after Gromp. His Krug's coming up in about 5 seconds, and so he's going to be slightly late to cycling his jungle. Not going to matter too much, but he chose to stay around in case there was a play instead of being farm efficient. Top laners battling back and forth, still a very small lead toward Huni.
Yeah, TSM's bot lane was playing very defensive, right? You know, the lane was pushing away from them, so I think Closer's saying, hey, if they push a little bit aggressively, I can get something big here, so it's kind of worth the opportunity cost of cycling your camps a little bit more slowly. Of course, seeing that the Gromp, or rather the Krugs have respawned and that Closer isn't up there, does give some information to TSM. You can be expecting that Rumble, you know, is going to be up on the top side looking for this, and exactly, they're anticipating where he could be, so now you can play very well around that, and this is kind of that evolution of jungle tracking, where you don't always need to know where the jungler is. Often where he isn't is actually telling you just as much.
Yeah, we actually just saw missing pings on the Raptors as well. There was a chance that ward saw one of the Raptors move, and so that's why they knew, but also the fact that the camp is up and Krugs weren't being hit says, well, also through that, we think he's there. Now they're pinging, hey, he's probably up towards Krugs, no other camps up from the go for, and indeed he is topside. Right now, Huni, though, he's under his turret. Like, the man's not diveable. So far, so good. TSM dodging around Rumble's early game.
Exactly. I mean, they're pinging it. They found out that he was around the Raptors area. So then if he does not go to Krug, guess what he's doing? He's looking for a gank, right? So then you play defensive. Once he shows on the Krugs, then you can go back to playing the game how you want to play. Huni's out of mana, though. Does have to be careful.
Without ulti, though, Sunday should not have the damage that matters. Yeah, easy. I think W, auto, E, that's enough to get away. No problems for Huni, but he's going to TV back this lane now.
And I think Someday did a good job of actually trading pretty consistently, and that kind of is your advantage, that you are resourceless here on the Lee Sin. So even though Gragas can spend his mana to utilize the passive and heal back up over time, you're more taxing the mana often than you are really taxing that HP. So some aggressive trading there does at the very least get Someday the earlier recall, and he can just walk straight back to lane.
Yeah, he's going to feel pretty good about that one. The wave is meeting, but yeah, he won't lose too much farm, so it's an easy teleport save. That means there's a big fight in the bot side. It's going to be easy stuff. Always want to get Iron Spike Whip for your recall if you can. It means you can start to one-shot the back wave with E plus active, and that's going to feel good for the Lee Sin. It gives you all the lane control you really need, and it lets you kind of be the first to move in a lot of cases.
And because Huni was he couldn't actually push the wave fast. So I think Someday didn't miss any experience there whatsoever on that recall, even though it wasn't actually a cannon wave. He got there in time. So always going to be feeling pretty good about that. And Huni is, in fact, going towards AP. Likely will be Everfrost here coming through with the Lost Chapter. That's pretty much always going to be the option. You pointed out 4 melee champions as well as Kaisa that wants to dive in. Everfrost can be very, very effective in those situations to be able to just peel for your double marksman as they are kiting back. TSM is very much so going to be wanting to play defensive here.
He's also one of the only magic damage threats on the team. I mean, technically Phoenix Udyr, sure, like he exists and it's not 0, but otherwise armor stacking is going to kind of let you ignore TSM's comp. So yeah, it fits out there really well. Obviously, one of the meta calls in League right now is, okay, mid marksmen are really, really common. A lot of comps run them. So how do we get enough magic damage? Well, tank Udyr is not that. Rumble is very good early, but he stops getting abilities that scale post 13. So good luck being a late game magic threat. So, okay, AP Gragas is one of the options. I think it's a totally viable choice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most teams are going towards kind of AP junglers and trying to figure out how they were getting that in. You know, obviously Morgana has fallen out of favor, has received some pretty significant nerfs. So I know people were experimenting with some of the other AP junglers. You know, I've heard talk about experiments with Fiddlesticks. I'm not sure if we'll end up seeing that on the stage. Because as you say, people really want a lot of these AD mid laners. They're the most popular picks right now for that lane. They're the ones that can play aggressive. People are not happy with AP itemization as far as mid lane does go. So, you know, finding out where you take your AP is a challenge that a lot of teams are having to face in draft. And Gragas threatens the squishies who are going to be building some armor. Like, we're going to see Abadage build Seekers and Gozonias and whatever, and you can threaten that. But AP Gragas never threatens your front line, right? So if Leona is getting very tanky, the burst is usually not enough. So like as a tank or someone who wants to build those sorts of stats, you can just go towards HP, and generally Gragas is not going to be a big threat for the sustained damage.
True. Just depends if you're going to get kind of chunked off and just really early on, and maybe you have enough damage to burst out a Lee Sin or something. That can be the hope. As we move on, Spica back through his jungle. Farm pretty much identical here for these players. We're at 8 camps apiece, roughly. Rumble maybe 1 camp behind. Nice that one. That's good. Dodge away from what could have been the body slam and just jump back to the minion. Yeah, whatever. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, but it's really cool.
It is cool. I mean, it's those little things that sometimes mean something over the course of a lane when you can create these small advantages. In this case, yeah, of course, it doesn't really matter. Both of them are pretty up on resources. Yeah, I mean, that can be a little bit of it, where there's unironically some hesitation next time he goes in for the Q. If you're expecting him to fake, you may hold on to your body slam. Maybe you react too late. But those little plays are always nice to see. There's no reason not to do it as the Lee Sin, I'll say that much.
Yeah, of course. So far, so good. Next set of recalls come across. Speaka's got his Bomby Cinder. He's on the way forward. We get the Hextech Alternator out of the Rumble. So it is actually Night Harvester. So the Keystone not matching what I thought was going to be the Mythic build. Unless he's doing... he could Rocket Belt, I suppose. Sure, as the other option, I think, is the other way that builds in. Yep. But I don't think he's rushing Horizon Focus. So yeah, unlikely then. But we'll see what comes out of this. Always a chance. I want the early power spike, and I'm still going to Riftmaker. There's a lot of build variability, technically out there, and I'm curious if that does happen. But otherwise, Riftmaker coming through. Or sorry, Night Harvester coming through as I misspeak. And Spica now going for a fairly early 10-minute Dragon. Keep in mind, sold the first Drake 2.5 minutes ago. Now getting Rift Herald.
And I feel like we're seeing more variation on some of these builds for common champions. Like Viego, we saw a lot of different options, and Zhao, we saw a lot of different options. Rumble last week, we actually saw Protobelt, Riftmaker, as well as the Night Harvester. So that has been a bit refreshing to see. Is then going to be an engage.
Big engage, ult to the top, big damage, but Spica is out cleanly. Huhi taking some culling damage, and the cask is decent, but the kick flash gonna put Huni inside the team comp, and 100 Thieves find first blood in the top scuttle fight.
Nicely done, 100 Thieves. They move all their members up, they commit to the fight, and they just immediately push Spica, and a lot of the other members just straight out of the fight. TSM was kind of split where Huni is coming from that top side, and we saw Power of Evil, Spica, all in this little corridor where they get hit by the Equalizer, they get pushed out, and Huni, as this AP Gragas, is just sectioned off. And 100 Thieves did a really good job of controlling this space. So look where TSM are retreating. All 3 of those members can essentially now not really enter the fight. Huni can't exit out through that equalizer because he didn't want to walk up that way. Someday is on top of him, so despite the ultimate being dropped there by Huni to try to shake things up a little bit, gets kicked right back in by a nice kick flash and does go down, plus they get the Herald. So yes, TSM got first Dragon, but after this Herald comes down, you're expecting a 1K plus gold lead here for 100 Thieves.
All right, feeling pretty good on the 100 Thieves side right now because, yeah, as we said, or as you said, you're going to expect that 300 gold to come in from Herald and likely more, to be honest. We've got 1 plate down in the top, so maybe a bit more pressure gets that the rest of the way. Since when he's taking that death, he's going to be very slightly under-leveled in some cases, so maybe you find that move going on. Did keep his flash, though, so may get away from dives without much issue. Lost playing safe. Doesn't want to have to burn ult to trade for Leona spells. Those cooldowns are way worse on the Xayah side, so just going for long-range Qs to last hit.
One thing I didn't actually get a chance to talk about yet, but Sword Art is not playing Exhaust. I'm actually very surprised that he's not playing Exhaust against Lee Sin and Akali, as well as Kaisa, who wants to dive in. Ignite feels like if you feel you can pressure the lane, and maybe they thought that they could, but Exhaust has such incredible value against this team.
Big stun into the Shroud goes Akali. Reinforcement coming soon. Abbedagga goes right in for the play. A ton of damage. Spica down to 300 health and just crushed. Abbedagga's on the scoreboard with the Akali. Explosive cast buys a bit of time. Ult 2 just to get back to the team. No other play to be had. 100 Thieves fighting better.
Nicely done there. They find the play. TSM was looking for Abbedagga, but not able to finish off that play. I mean, he had the Shroud available. He buys enough time. Closer and Huhi are moving up. They get the kill. They'll get the Dragon. And now at this point, you know, I talked about minimizing the deficit. Abbedagga is down 15 CS, but he has a kill to his name, so who cares? You're even now with the Lucian, who has no defensive stats whatsoever. And at this point, it gets very scary as that Lucian player, because Abbedagga does have the ability to threaten the solo kills, especially once the Mythic is completed. And they're going to extend this gold lead here. Getting pretty big at this point, going to be up around, closing in on that 2K mark.
Yeah, feeling really good right now. So, plate's going to drop in about 30 seconds. No one's pressuring any lanes. It is just going to be the 2-plate take. But hey, Rift Herald worth 100 gold for the kill, 320 for knocking down 2 plates. All right, not a bad objective play for a kill you got over the top as well. And we take some recalls pretty soon. Obviously, decent amount of money on FBI. Going towards the most likely Gale Force, could be Kraken Slayer. Either one's going to be fine. And then, you know, a bit of AD as well. I'm curious if the one longsword means he's more likely to go Phantom Dancer instead of just finishing a Serrated Dirk, or if that was just like a recall timing thing.
Yeah, could just be a recall timing. Could be interesting to see where he does go. We're seeing more players. Like I feel like it used to always just be Mythic plus Collector, and now I am seeing more variation of people going into just straight Mythic, into the PD, not placing as much value onto the Collector. So interesting to see a little bit of variation here. Yeah. And with the Kraken Slayer completed, I do expect that it's just going to be PD second.
It makes sense. I mean, if you're trying to like make a thematic build, I think Gale Force and Collector make sense together, right? You're playing more Assassination. You've got functionally 2 actives, right? The Gale Force and the 5% kill from Collector. The lethality makes sense with the Q. But yeah, if you're Kraken Slayer, you're going for the auto attack focus build. So you want the attack speed. You want the other complementary stats. So it makes sense to go Kraken Slayer, Phantom Dancer, and one longsword is enough to wait around for a while and then build a second and then go towards Zeal, and off you go to the races. But now you've got plays from TSM ready for the counterpunch, looking as 3 towards the bot side. I mean, FBI can wave clear, and that turret on its last leg, just about 1,000 health. Also a blue buff steal. Gonna be smited. Spica didn't want, I guess our GPU already has one, so feels safe to just smite it and walk away.
Yeah, not too much of a risk there. Nice little invade, though, taking away the blue buff. There wasn't any counterplay to be had on the other side, as they'd already cleared theirs out. Everfrost complete here now for Huni. So can even use that as part of his combo, even just with the E, Everfrost plus auto, proc the phase rush, retreat. Not much of a recourse there for Someday, and the wave clear gets pretty good once you have some levels into that Q as well as a bit of AP under your belt. It's pretty hard to actually get much turret damage down as the Lee Sin.
Absolutely, because if you try anything, he almost one-shots the wave and knocks you into the wall, and you're like, I am in front of the turret, and there's no minions, and this is going to hurt a lot. Now a big cask almost lands the root, but he's got Rumble. There's the flash, there's the kick, the ward hop as well. Huni needs one more body slam. Is he going to land it? Yes, he is! Huni is on the board!
Nicely done. The clean mechanics there from Huni. Body slam, flash, immediate ultimate. He didn't leave any gap for that to be flashed by the Lee Sin. I like how he did not do that. In this case, he didn't need the added damage. And sometimes players do greed out for an additional auto in there. Gives an opening to escape as Hui pushing forward, but Lost will not even have to blow that ultimate. So pretty calm play from him. TSM do strike on that top side, but 100 Thieves with the addition of the Rift Herald damage down on the bottom side have now knocked down that first tower.
Big damage from the ultis. Hui might just drop it. Indeed, it happens. Now Abadaga goes right back in and trades mid laner for support. Feels good, but a stun on Akali is dangerous. Pops the ultimate. Lost on the way out. Cannot survive. Just can't build the space. Closer burns the stopwatch. Is there a re-engage? Q is timed well, but the shield was up. A triple kill for the Akali. Abadaga's feeling great. Finding so many kills now, 5-2, 100 Thieves.
Abadage off the Karma freedom! He's playing the assassin, he's flashing over walls, he's doing kickflips, taking them down left and right. 4-0 on the champion has gotta feel good for him. Getting a chance to show off those mechanics, to really show what people thought they were bringing him in for. And now it's even more powerful as we watch in the Honda performance play here. He can play the Karma, showed that last week. Here he goes on the Assassin as TSM just overcommitted. I think they lost track of the fact that the Equalizer was still available. They funnel in Abadage R1 into the immediate E, catches onto Power of Evil, who dashes away, but that E was still connected, so there's no escaping. He goes back in, saving the Shroud for really good timing in his fight against Lost there, and is able to flash over the wall, grab a third kill. He's now got the Proto Belt, the Tier 2 boots. He's got the Seekers as well. He is ready to dominate this game.
Starter just flashed away from what would have been, I believe, a Zenith Blade out of Huhi's Leona, so more cooldowns missing. TSM trying to fight for the top Herald, but they just lost the last fight. This one probably doesn't look any better. Maybe a Smite fight, not gonna happen. Cleaned up by Closer. And he can walk his way back in. 4 Mythics done on the 100 Thieves side. Hui just on his boots right now, but with the stopwatch ready to go, still fairly durable. 100 Thieves are feeling good as they can walk down towards this third dragon of the game.
I mean, when you're this strong now as Akali and there's no exhaust on the other side, there's no locket completed, there's no added defensive items, you're looking at the 2 ADs, 0 MR purchased by either one. Like, this is a dream game. You can absolutely 100-0 either the Lucian or the Xayah. If you can actually connect to them, get into the backline, hit him with the E, they're pretty much donezo. So we'll see if he can actually make good on the lead that he's now created for himself.
Yeah, see if he can manifest the rest of this one as, well, this Herald summoned a little bit too close to the midpoint of the lane and does a whole fat nothing. 25 gold handed back over to whoever last hit it, but whatever. Dragon still theoretically on the board, cleared out by FBI. The mid wave is, and off they go to the bottom river.
The slight win, I guess, is that TSM did bring everyone towards mid lane, so the side lanes did get pushed. Top lane will lose some of that farm, so there's a slight edge there as far as the experience and the CS is concerned. Someday winning out in that regard. They'll grab the dragon here, and they're just going to continue looking to invade. They want to scrap, especially in the jungle here. Looking for fights consistently really does benefit 100 Thieves when you're playing with the Rumble. Anytime that Equalizer is available, you can really look to get aggressive there, because TSM funneling through these tight choke points in the jungle is just not going to work for them.
It's not. It's been tough. Rumble over the top, Akali to finish the deal. Kais, if you really need it, just in case. It's been a good look. 100 Thieves so far have found another comp that works well, and they are easily battling the #1 team in current standings. Went 3-0 last week.
Here comes Kali.
3-1 run is now Huni has to try to get away, but he's got nowhere to go. Over the top goes Equalizer. Hui finds out the first kill. Culling in a retreat now for the TSM mid laner, but Spica just gonna drop as well. 100 Thieves always ready to fight, and every single time they win it.
And now they're going for the Baron here. Abadaga did not commit the ulti, neither did Someday. So the Soul Laners still have ultimates available here on 100 Thieves, making their turn more powerful. Their Baron take is not that fast, though. We'll see if they're going to commit to this or if TSM will push in and try to force them off.
It's going to be tough, but they can try. They got a little bit of front line. 4,000 health, though, on the Baron. Easy smite at 900. They're going to turn for the fight. It's going to be lost. Kick towards the wall. They will give up Baron and take the kill instead. 100 Thieves, how much has it leashed, though, is the question. Back up to about half. Closer. He's almost dead. He's got to be real careful. When he gets the shield back from cooldown, can walk in and use that. End of the day, they're going to say, you know what? We don't need smite. There's no steals available. They grab it. No problem. 100 Thieves grab a sub 21-minute Baron.
They are dominating in this one. Let's watch it one more time. TSM trying to go for the invade. Huni goes in with the body slam flash, but who's going to follow up on that? It's just Udyr that is there with you. Lost is not in position, neither is Power of Evil, and then again, it's these jungle corridors. As TSM try to commit into this fight, Equalizer gets dropped in the corridor, the marksmen have to retreat, 100 Thieves has their carries free firing.
And it looks really good. The early game has snowballed into an avalanche now in the mid-game, only 21 minutes in, but the Red Bull Baron on for 2 minutes 20. It'll time out before the next dragon spawns, but they're likely to crack an inhibitor with this.
Yeah, I mean, when you have double Zonias complete as well, that is really frightening this early on. Closer as well as Abbedagge have that completed. You can see the PD plus a BF on top. The Locket is coming through. Like, they have everything they need right now to take fights.
Okay, well, they don't have everything they need for the Gromp as someday Ward hops to take the Blast Plan away. Good awareness. Stun's going to land, but hey, Lost has Cleanse. So ulti. Gale Force used to get off the Equalizer. Sword Art tanks Sakai's the W, and now it's some damage on the mid-turret. Half HP, but someday, I believe he's out of wards to hop to, so we'd have to burn his flash to get a kick. End of the day, not going to mean much. FBI runs away from the culling turret down to 1/3, and Abbedagge was on split push, so turret number 3 is killed.
Exactly. They don't need to overcommit there. They try to drop the Equalizer to make Lost back it up, but TSM overloaded the mid lane to defend there. As a result, they lose that bottom tower. You can see Someday is back up towards the top side, pushing this in, and now, because it is uneven numbers, they see the Lucian, they see the Gragas out on those side lanes. There's nothing to stop 100 Thieves from marching in and taking this tower. They have been so clean at snowballing their advantages in this game, taking these jungle fights where they have come out ahead, immediately forcing the Baron, grabbing that, pressuring in 3 lanes, and they are just expanding this gold lead so incredibly fast.
And they just let the cannon shoot down the turret. 2 more autos will knock it down, and there it is. Walking in for good measure, take a turret shot, who cares? Abbedagge still pushing in bot. That turret's at half HP itself. And now they can siege mid again as the new wave is already reinforced. Getting cut down somewhat, but that still means some turret damage. Lee Sin also pushing in the top lane, so 100 Thieves just pushing in all 3 lanes. They've got the vision control to not be flanked. They know where the enemy champions are, and they're just collecting their gold.
Pretty much any time you see Huni on the map, you don't really have to be worried about an engage from TSM. That is one of the weaknesses of this squad. The most explosive engage besides him is Udyr running at you and bear stunning you, right? So this is allowing 100 Thieves to push very aggressively. As long as Someday has eyes on Huni, the rest of the squad isn't worried at all.
A couple ults come down onto Lost. He, of course, doesn't have Cleanse. Doesn't want to burn the ult. He doesn't need to. Able to walk away, but that means a probably trip to the fountain as Locket is popped just to walk in and take a little bit of damage as they try to hit this turret, but still wave cleared well enough. The Baron ends. They will not knock down an inhibitor or an inhibitor turret. They just get them low. Still, money earned, 8K gold lead, next dragon in 20 seconds.
And that is 4 towers taken during that with this final tower here. They got both the mid ones, they got the tier 2 in top as well as bot. So that is a lot of gold going the way of 100 Thieves. You can see up above an 8,000 gold lead at this point, and you look at even just some of the individual matchups become very, very concerning. Kai'Sa being 3,000 gold ahead. Power of Evil has good farm. He's trying to keep pace with Abbedagge, but he's so strong at this point of the game, and all of these gold leads seem to be amounting in these item completions as Someday has Asterix now on top, and they can put themselves to soul point.
Here we go, red buff attempt. Easily smited, and not gonna be, maybe he didn't have a second charge, wanted to save it for Dragon, not sure, but red buff goes over to Lost, so he's got that bit for power. Obviously being down an item kind of sucks. He's got Gale Force and half a Lord Dominic's. FPS of a Phantom Dancer and most of Infinity Edge.
And I really like the investment into the stopwatch here, right? You know, this is kind of that one fight power. And because they have this massive gold lead, they have the luxury of spending money on that. You have one on Someday, you have one on FBI. This allows them to play a little bit more aggressive, to dive into the back line and buy time with that stopwatch because you are so far ahead. You do not need to maximize efficiency as far as the items you're purchasing. You can have that pit stop for the stopwatch, and I think it's really, really valuable. It makes it so tough to win this next fight for TSM. And really, if they lose next fight, they probably lose the game.
Almost certainly. They're, of course, on the door of their inhibitors themselves. Baron up in 115. We'll see if Under Thieves play it slowly and just play for top river. Honestly, the entire Baron siege they had was by the book. It was play tri-lane, right? We've got a Lee Sin split, we've got an Akali split. Those are both going to feel really comfortable. And as you mentioned, they got 4 turrets for it. That's great. That's, the 2,000 gold plus, any of the jungle camps they stole away. That's good. That's great. That's a good, solid gain, and ended it with the dragon afterwards. So they haven't given TSM an easy way in. As you had mentioned, the Huni Gragas, one of the only real clutch engage tools out there. So, hey, if he's tracked, you're not going to just, surprise lose a fight. You're up gold.
Yeah, and that's why I like that they're playing 1-3-1, right? Because you force Huni to answer someday in the top lane, and then everywhere else, you have no worries at all. You massively outstat your opponents, you have way more gold, and if Huni is there, there's no engage options for TSM. Yes, Huni has a lot of CDR, he's got the Summoner spell cooldown as well with the Lucidity boots, so he can make some plays happen potentially, but 100 Thieves really knows the only way you'd possibly lose is some sort of a miracle engage, so they're just spreading the map, they're running TSM all over, and just extending this gold lead slowly but surely.
So here we go. Baron is back alive. Control wards down. Not inside the pit, but enough to track any of the meaningful vision TSM could have put down, so the wards can be swept. And as mid is pushed in, Akali's pushing in bot, Lee Sin's shoved in top, it's time to collect up in the river, but okay, TSM spotted out. And again, they don't have the clutch engage tools really, right? FBI was on the same screen and felt completely untouchable despite having, okay, yeah, he's got flash, so he's got that one tool, but you don't want to burn that for free. Didn't have to. Again, there's not really any good way in, so Baron is being set up. It's full fog of war. At what point do they start?
Yeah, I think they're just going to continue pushing in these waves, clearing out vision. Once they sweep out a little bit more of this, we may see them start. Of course, it's pretty easy to tell when they're on it because if FBI is showing, they just don't really have the damage to actually knock down this Baron with any sort of pace. So if FBI is missing, that's when you have to be a little bit worried here for TSM. And we may see the blue trinket committed now because he's been absent from mid lane for a while.
So heavy damage on the Baron, rushing it down pretty quickly. 3 full items in the Kai'Sa, half HP now. Speak is the one you got to watch for. He can smite. Equalizer,
being deep.
Not doing a ton. TP flank coming in. That's going to be the fight then as the ultis come across. Who he knocked up, a little bit low on health. Damage from Abadaga, marked right now by Huni. Not an easy target, this Gragas. And so as the Baron bait begins, TSM answer it well to get rid of the control wards, and 100 Thieves burn the TP and otherwise gained nothing. I guess Huni burned his as well, so call it an equal trade. A couple ults came down for 100 Thieves, though. They meant nothing as well. But now, as TSM get hemmed in, you can look at the mid lane again. Abadaga wants to clear that one out, but be careful. He's going to be slowed up by Huni. Goes invisible, but where does he want to go? Has to burn Rocket Belt and E, and off he runs as now 100 Thieves turn back onto the Baron to try yet again. Abadaga still, with his ult, with his flash, is a major threat. Blue trinket burned in again. We look at the next fight. Ult is coming up fairly soon from the jungle support of 100 Thieves, but watch out for Spica. 900, a flat smite in both cases. Walking back down the river, and the Baron resets yet again.
Yeah, they're looking to get the trip damage down.
Pulling damage on Huni, but body slam is a threat. You can't easily jump in. Gets not much. Ult comes across. Stopwatch, explosive cast. Here comes the hard engage. Lee Sin comes in, finds nothing. Closer though. Gets the kill in the top lane, but trades back for Leona. So 4v4 yet again. And with an 8,000 gold deficit, TSM can get a 1-for-1 in a team fight. That is impressive. You have to give them credit for that.
Absolutely, and it looks like they were pushing forward here. Do decide to back off, but I mean, you said it, when you're that far behind, an even trade does advantage the team that is behind, right? You are closing the gold gap if you are trading gold back and forth like that. The concern is going to be this next dragon, where TSM will have to fully commit to it. You can rush down the Infernal so fast, so TSM is going to have to be confident about how they find this fight. Flashes are available for everyone as people were not willing to fully commit, I think largely because they knew the Infernal is going to be such a critical fight here. The IE is now completed for FBI, so he has that. He almost has the GA as well. Everyone just trying to complete as much power as they can right now. Double Void Staff coming through for mid-jungle on the 100 Thieves side. TSM is scraping together pieces, but they're just not at the same level of power. So it's got to be outplays. It's got to be the X factor, and you're again just looking towards Huni.
Ultis are up, and we have the Infernal Soul available for 100 Thieves if they can land the smite. push Spica out of the way. Someday, of course, can help guarantee that one, and it can look easy. So Dragon being started, TSM feeling a bit of the pressure. No one split pushing, it's just the fight right now. Someday fighting Huni, that looks pretty good. Abadaga on the wings, on a ward though. Has to be respectful of what the re-engage could look like. Huni goes in, body slam flash for the cast, does not put him into the team. Equals over the top, Abadaga ready to keep fighting as well. Huni running away for dear life.
Someday.
Almost dead. Someday, where does he go in? He's gonna find the fight and get a bit of damage, but rooted in place. Burns a stopwatch, Spica flashes, but not to safety. 2 for 0 so far. FBI opens up for 2. A third comes in for Someday. Now a flash out for Power Viva, wants to knock down Someday, cannot do so. FBI in the chase, finds his third kill of the fight, and now Huni has nowhere to go. Who he gonna be rooted and knocked back? It does not matter. He'll be killed by the Leona, and Ace comes through, and the Dragon is not needed. The Bud Light Ace is all the 100 Thieves need to go for the end of the game.
They got the minions in mid, they got the minions in bot, they're gonna TP in, and this should do it.
It might be at least the double inhibitors. There's a chance to go for the Nexus, but they might just go for the inhibs and then also just turn back to the Dragon. Respawns 15 seconds for Lost, 30 for Huni, 25 for Power Vivo. They are going for the Nexus with 4 right now, as they keep on pushing forward. Leona joining in soon. Sword Art is here. First Nexus being attacked. That one's going to go down. Here comes Equalizer yet again. They're going to get the kill onto Braum, and the second one as easy as that. 32 minutes. They're going to find the win. TSM find their first loss, the Summer Split. The stopwatch. Save his KDA, and they'll do so. Abadaga finds his second champion to find a win in the LCS.
Nicely done. 100 Thieves coming out hot today. They were looking so good in that game against TSM, really dictating the pace of the game from very early on. Really from the first Herald fight up on the top side, finding a decisive win there. They constantly forced fights around these chokes in the jungle, utilizing the equalizer so incredibly well. Abadaga able to clean up in a couple of those fights and got so far ahead that when he's constantly threatening these flanks, the double marksman composition of TSM was never really able to enter the fight and get that kind of front-to-back fight where they want a free fire, where the Braum is up in front between you and the carries. Abadaga was always threatening that flank, and they just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, really nicely done. So TSM 3-1 so far in the Summer Split. Obviously, they are still the first place team. For now, they are still half a game ahead of Cloud9. We'll see if they catch up. But it means that we have 100 Thieves getting that much closer. Now just one full game behind. They can take that first place spot before too long.
And that's 3 wins in a row now, right? Yeah. They lost their first game of the split there on the Karma. We're getting a lot of heat for that. What are you doing? Get them off the Karma. Well, they went back to it 2 more times in a row. They won both of those.
Yep.
It was actually, Bjergsen that got him out of Karma jail, banned it for him so he didn't have to play it, but the Akali looking nice.
Yeah, so now do you leave up Karma? Because, hey, the Akali looks good too. And the thing is, again, 100 Thieves themselves decided, hey, these comps work well for us. You heard it in an interview last week as well. It's like, look, this is what's working for us. Like, it's been successful in scrims, so it's the comps we're going for. But I'm always a fan of a man who can play both styles. He can take over the game on Akali. He can be the clutch support the team needs on Karma. And if you can play all of those styles well, that is awesome. That is great. I'm a huge fan of players like that. I'm already becoming a very big Abadaga fan. That's wonderful. What we kind of saw on display was why I still have 100 Thieves pegged as the top dog, because I like them everywhere. One of the questions was, which rosters can integrate Someday well? Because he's had some really bad splits, either from having a jungler who's not on the same page or a team not on the same page, but like the Hanes are good, the Brain is good. This feels like one of Someday's best splits. He's on a good team that complements him. I mean, every role down the line is top 3.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the bigger thing feels like Someday doesn't have to be the guy, right? And I feel like Someday has never been at his best when he has to be the guy, when you must carry or your team will lose. Like, he is an outstanding player, but being that secondary carry, that extra threat, always feels like it suits him better.
Yeah.
And you have this incredible bot lane. You now have a true carry threat in the mid lane. Closer is looking revitalized playing alongside Abadaga because it's a lot easier to play jungle, let's be honest, when your mid lane's dominating, just like it's a lot easier to play mid lane when your jungle's dominating. So those two are really working well in tandem, and it's giving them so many options, which does make them a true multi-threat team. I mean, you talked about it earlier. You want a player who can play the different styles. Yeah, I mean, if you can carry from all roles, play all champions, guess what? You got the perfect team for League of Legends.
Yeah. And otherwise, you have to work around it. And that's okay, too. Sometimes, you can be a very, very good team, an elite team, either one that that wins a domestic championship or even, an international title where, look, we just have one or two styles and that's okay. Like, that can be enough when you're that good.
Crown's world champion playing Malzahar mid. It's fine. You know, you play what fits the meta and you play to your own style.
And that's fine, right? That can totally be good enough. Not everyone is literally the best player in the role when you win a championship, and that's completely reasonable. And right now, though, 100 Thieves, again, feeling really good, firing on all cylinders basically everywhere, and so I'm a big fan. And, even looking at Closer himself a bit more, his wins are all in unique champions this split, right? Rumble was not a jungler in the spring split. He's picked that one up pretty well. Looked good so far. Xin Zhao, his 2 wins with Karma. Like, that comp looks nice, right? Karma mid wasn't a big deal. It was Abadaga's first time playing it last week, and hey, his first Xin Zhao games in forever, basically. I'm sure he's played it some solo queue, back in the day, but it wasn't a competitive champion. Those 2 looked good, so I like the 100 Thieves have cons. I like how good they look so far, so 2 thumbs up for me. For now, we're handing it over to La Tigress, who's on stage as Closer for our Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you, Freak. I am here with 100 Thieves Closer after that victory to kick off week 2 here in Summer. An early Herald and Akali that was 4-0 at 18 minutes. What do you feel was key to taking down TSM now 3-1?
I feel pretty good. TSM has been looking pretty strong. And in the first week, our first game didn't look as good against Immortals. But I'm happy that after that game, we are playing more dominance. And today's game was clean as well. So I'm pretty happy right now.
Yeah, from that singular game, we have seen you ramping up from that first W to the next one, now the 3rd one in a row. Abadaga, the newest addition to 100 Thieves, you have some history with him. How does that diverse champ pool that he is showing out here, whether it be the Karma or the Akali, affect the way that you play in the jungle position?
Yeah, I feel like me and Abadaga is on point right now. We are at the same page with our picks. We read the meta well, and I'm happy we showed something other than Karma today. So I'm looking forward to playing with him more.
You made a lot of people eat their words, though, when it came to that Karma play at the end of last week. We're also just wondering how things are going with Reaper coming into the equation. How has that dynamic shifted for 100 Thieves?
Yeah, I mean, ever since Reaper came in, I feel like he's just a championship coach. When he sees a problem, he knows how to fix it, and like we are just lucky to work with him, to be honest, because we are improving really fast.
And you want a champion level coach when you yourselves are all clearly gunning for the top of the leaderboards. As a jungler, many have been impressed with your performance thus far in summer. How would you compare your current performance with how you were feeling back in spring?
I mean, I think I'm getting better every day. I don't think I'm at my peak. So like I will continue to be better. And I have a really good team and coaching staff around me. So I'm pretty confident it's going to be a good split.
Great, confident vibes from you here on the stage, Closer. Thank you so much for stopping by after your win.
Thank you.
Closer closing the gap on what he considers to be his peak here in the LCS. We're going to kick to a quick break, but when we return, we will continue breaking down this match.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. In a battle between two of our top performing teams from Week 1, it's 100 Thieves who comes out on top. And I'm going to turn to Emily first on this one because we had the setup of the draft. The question was raised, what happened when Karma comes off the table? And that exactly did happen. TSM didn't want to see it. 100 Thieves comes through with something totally different.
Yeah, so this draft, obviously, I know people are like, whoa, they did a complete turnaround from Karma to Akali. Akali is a champion that Abbedagge is very comfortable with. I think another thing that I do want to call out that I didn't talk about initially in draft is that Karma is a really good response to Rumble. And guess what? They locked in the jungle Rumble. And Rumble works best when you see him in compositions like this with the Leona, where you have some sort of really hard lockdown CC. We actually saw a really similar composition to this at the Mid-Season Invitational from PSG Talon. So I really liked this composition. It is one of those things where people are pointing at the draft and being like, a lot of this was somewhat decided in draft. I do just really like how 100T pivoted and how they still played to their overall team strengths.
Yeah, totally agree. And this was a completely different look from them, right? You know, we saw a situation where you expect Lucian to be pushing in Akali. You know, pre-6, you're not going to be getting like the Karmas in pressure on mid that they had the last 3 games. But as we mentioned before, this is a team that has a lot of versatility. So I didn't even expect that the mid-jungle duo of Xin, Karma is what you would expect to normally see from them. I think it looks more like this, more like Abbedagge on control mages, is what you can expect to see. So this is a really, really threatening and versatile team.
Right, and while in some ways the Akali would become the star of this game later on, I think the point about the Rumble is a big one. And so beyond the fact that Rumble is a powerful champion, the way they utilized it specifically, Kaizen, I'm thinking around those couple global objectives. Rift Herald, Baron, brilliant.
Absolutely, and these are 2 huge equalizers from Closer. You know, in this first fight, we see TSM getting completely cut off in the river, unable to contest Herald. Huni gets picked out someday with a really nice ult to kick him back into the team. You know, really snowballs a game in their favor, and you can see their practice in playing like this together. You know, at these skirmishes around smaller objectives, they utilize the fact that they have Leona to lock down stray members of TSM and then use equalizers to capitulate the fight as quickly as possible. So I really loved this look from 100 Thieves all around.
Yeah, you talk about the meta that we've seen at MSI. Like, these are things that have been well established as powerful picks and combinations, and it makes them very threatening, not just for the diversity of the way that you actually play them, not having mid pressure necessarily, but also just in draft. When you start looking like, well, what do I want to ban out against this team? They have their own things that they're doing well, like the Karma's in. TSM banned that out, and they're like, okay, well, we'll just go with what we saw for the last month and still kick your ass with that. And I think it makes a big problem for teams looking at 100 Thieves going forward.
Yeah, turns out a Karma good and a Kali good too.
You can be good
and
multiple
Rumble
things.
good.
Yeah,
And Rumble good.
Rumble good.
Come on.
Right, exactly. They've got their own 100 Thieves meta, and then they're also fine at playing the Worlds or the